4-2 Luton Town. They are living the dream. The latest twist in an extraordinary tale. Harvey back off the bench on his Newcastle comeback.
Lots of good, lots of bad, really mixed. The way we started the game, I thought this could be a really memorable game for us.
We're missing Joe Linton, that's massive to me. I think you missed him massively today. We can't afford to lose anyone else.
Welcome everybody, this is Scotland. Now we are in England and we're at the border. We're making our way down from Edinburgh to the Toon game. Let's get going.
Well, as Lee makes his way back into Newcastle, as you can see, St James's Park is starting to become full as fans are making their way into the ground. Luton are coming off a fantastic 4-0 home win against much fancied Brighton. So that was a fantastic result. But meanwhile, Newcastle have come off 2 fantastic away performances, one in the FA Cup against Fulham, but midweek's fantastic display putting 3 past Aston Villa. What will happen today? Let's get inside and see how today unfolds.
Eddie Howe has been struggling with illness this week, but he is on the touchline today, and here is the team that he's picked. Martin Dubravka continues in goal, impressing of late in the long-term absence of Nick Pope. It's an unchanged back 4 from the victory at Villa, in which centre-back Fabian Schär scored twice. He's the only Newcastle player to start every Premier League game this season. Injuries continue to restrict Howe's options in midfield, where Bruno Guimaraes is a bucking away from a 2-match ban. 17-year-old Lewis Miley signed a new long-term contract with the club this week. The only alteration from Tuesday night is enforced. Alexander Isak hasn't recovered from a groin injury suffered in that game, so Miguel Almiron comes in, with Anthony Gordon expected to play a more central role. But they do have Callum Wilson back on the bench after missing the last 5 games with a calf injury, whilst Harvey returns to the matchday squad for the first time since September. Who can back up their midweek exploits the better? Newcastle usually start strongly, but this Luton side have shown such spirit of late, and they come with confidence. The early stages could tell us much, Andy Walker.
Yeah, I think so. It'll be interesting to see who dominates in the early period of possession.
And delivers dangerously for the emphatic first-time finish for Newcastle United. Sean Longstaff has the home side ahead. He was in the perfect place to profit, and it's a super start at St James's for Newcastle.
Picks it up, lifts his head, sees a bit. He's got the vision to deliver it out wide to Trippier. Now, what can you deliver in the box? It's low and it's hard, but there's that attacking midfield player, Longstaff. He gets onto it first time and guides it well away from Kaminsky.
And in for the equaliser from Osho. Luton level. It's a huge moment for them as Luton Town continue to make memories back in the top flight of English football. They're on terms on Tyneside.
Barkey at the back post, helped on into the middle there. That's the danger area. And Gabriel Osho makes it count.
Osho has to get back and do the day job. Anthony Gordon, plenty of power, shot comes out and will be returned by Longstaff for another one. Luton were not level for long. It's Sean Longstaff at the double to double his tally for the Premier League season in the opening quarter of this contest. And Newcastle on top again at 2-1.
For this goal, look, he's positioning here. When Gordon picks up the ball, he just lets him get away.
And Luton have levelled this up for the second time in the game. Ross Barkley.
Well, he created it himself. Look at him here. in the middle of the park. There's a loose ball, he wins it there, and now he drives. When do you release the pass? I think he does it at the perfect time, and he gets himself into the danger area and takes advantage of the break.
And some space here. This is the chance maybe for Newcastle, and it's Kaminski who quickly closed down Murphy.
This is a penalty for
VAR are just relaying the message to Tom Bramall that although the foul did start outside the penalty area, it continued inside the box and it will be a penalty. And Luton have the chance here to get themselves ahead.
But the ref's not ready. That's remarkable.
Piles on the pressure in every sense. He does go the same way, it's the same outcome, and Luton lead. The Hatters ahead at St James's Park in a game in which they have twice trailed. They summon that spirit. 4-2 Luton Town. They are living the dream. Elijah Adebayo, fresh from his first ever hat-trick in midweek, with another magic moment.
Look at Kieran Trippier. He advances forward. He has got to stay in his position. Now they've got a problem. Luton are in. It's 3 against 3, maybe 4 against 3. But Barkey again. The perfect weight to the pass.
And they do have one back. Kieran Trippier with a captain's contribution.
Well, Trippier, look at him here. What does he sense? He needs to get into the box. Look at the timing. And he gets himself away from Carlton Morris. He sneaks in behind him. Beautiful ball from Guimaraes. And he makes it count.
Picks his spot with precision. The latest twist in an extraordinary tale. Harvey Barnes back off the bench on his Newcastle comeback.
What a good goal this is. Look at what Harvey Barnes does here. He doesn't go for power. Left foot, guided away from Kaminski. And what a moment for him. Out for so long with an injury. And unbelievably, Newcastle are back level at 4-4. Beautifully controlled.
Chess still going, he's unselfish. On all the way across the face of goal it goes. And nobody could quite get the touch to it. And again it's across goal. And not quite turned in. Not quite. That's full time. That is 4-4. In what has been something of a Premier League classic, which does end with honours even. Both will breathe something of a sigh of relief. Seems a long time ago now, doesn't it, that Sean Longstaff started the scoring just 6 minutes into the match, went on to twice put Newcastle in front, but by the time Harvey Barnes came on to score, Newcastle were 2 down at the time. Gabriel, Osho and Ross Barkley had twice hauled Luton level before Adebayo and Morris had got the goals that had them dreaming of all 3 points. They couldn't quite hold on for the victories. Newcastle battled back, but there was to be no final definitive twist. All that was lacking in what has been the most compelling of contests. It's ended all square at St James's Park. Breathtakingly brilliant. Newcastle 4, Luton 4.
Wow, 4-4 everybody. What an incredible game of football. It was like back and forth like a basketball game. But as the fans start to make their way out, Newcastle can't pick up the 3 points. Luton fans may feel a little bit disappointed they didn't pick up all 3. But we're going to head across now to Johnny, Lee and Joe to bring you the next part of the video, which is the last word. Over to you, lads.
And yeah, that is it. Full time at St James's Park. Newcastle United 4, Luton Town 4. I'm here with Joe, I'm here with Lee, and It is absolutely bonkers sort of game. We'll try and dissect it as much as we can. We'll briefly go through the team news, Lee. It was the same team that ended the game against Aston Villa, so Isak didn't make it. Miggy started the game, but good to see Barnes and Wilson on the bench. The bench looked a bit more, well, looked better, let's be brutally honest.
Yeah, great for the neutral to watch today. But it's squad depth, that's all it is. And I know it sounds like a broken record every week, and I say it every week, one goes down, one comes back. So in that case, we've had 2 back today. That bench just look a little bit more stronger today. So we had more options, and I don't care what anybody says about Harvey Barnes, he scores goals, and that's something that our wingers don't do enough of. Gordon, granted this season, but on the right-hand side, Miggy doesn't chip in enough. I know he did last season. And Jacob Murphy's, well, I thought his performance was poor today, but overall, it's good to have options, and I actually thought Wilson was actually decent in that second half. People are going to criticise him, but I didn't think we had a pinpoint in the first half of Gordon, but with Wilson he did. But hopefully have Willock back soon.
Well, Willock and Isak, I think, by the sound of it, Jason Tindall was very, very confident that, well, I say very confident, there was a chance that he could play today. So if that's the case, with another week's rest, you'd like to think Isak and hopefully Willock, because we need another midfielder, because Bruno's still on that.
We miss Joe Willock so much.
We do, but we just made midfielders in general. We're down to 3. We haven't got many left. Joe, it was an unbelievable game if you're the neutral, as Lee mentioned. Longstaff puts Newcastle ahead. It's 1-0. You have to say, fantastic from Lewis Miley. Lovely ball from the centre of the park. Straight to Kieran Trippier, who plays a lovely cross. And Sean Longstaff developing in this game to try and get on the end of more crosses and getting more goals, and he's come away with 2, but the first one was a great finish.
Oh, unbelievable finish from Longstaff. I mean, one of the things we had the issue with Longstaff last season was his finishing, and today, twice over, he's come in, he's finished it perfectly, he's got it in the back of the net, it's been brilliant. You mentioned Lewis Miley today as well. Like, Lewis Miley has been an absolute wonder on that pitch today. He's given his all, he's won balls left, right and centre, he's been absolutely phenomenal today, Lewis Miley. I just wish we could have capitalised on a few more chances, especially like in the first half when we're up 2, and we've got Longstaff running in like he is. Balls are getting pinged over to him. I just wish he had been able to finish off his hat-trick. It would have been amazing for him, but it is what it is. I'm just glad to see Longstaff actually starting to finish chances. It's absolutely amazing. Yeah,
certainly, and that was 1-0. I'll let you talk about the next 2 goals, so we'll start with Luton's first goal. Free kick, and I'm sick and tired of talking about set pieces and not being able to defend it properly. Luton shouldn't be winning 2 headers. The first one on the far post, and then it comes back to the number 2. I forget his name, so I do apologise in advance, Luton Town fans. You'll tell me in the comments. But free header, can't miss, and it's 1-1. And in a blink of an eye, you're thinking, well, it was poor defending, but for me, I just thought it just switched off.
It's poor marking, man. And it's like, I think that's probably one of Botman's worst games. I'm not just pinpointing it on Botman because Shea's his partner, but defensively, the 2 centre backs and Dan Burn were shocking today.
Do you think Adebayo was just a bit was too good in terms of having a bit of a tussle, a bit of a fight?
You've seen his goals last week. Got himself a hat-trick against Brighton, and they're bouncing obviously coming up here from a fantastic win. Let's face it. Anybody who beats Brighton 4-0, whether it's us, Man City, whoever it is in the league, they're going to be bouncing off that. But so they're coming in with confidence, but you cannot do that. And Luton have just been promoted, but you cannot give someone 6 yards free header and it hits like the underside of the bar and gans in, and maybe again we haven't seen it back. Maybe Dubravka's got to be a little bit more come out and get it, but I haven't seen it back. I might change my mind looking at it back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that was 1-1, and I'll stay with you, Lee, for the Newcastle's goal. And Anthony Gordon deserves so much credit because Luton had it in our box, to be fair, and they were kind of, if I'm being honest, it wasn't against the run of play Luton score, and I have to be honest, I thought they were a really good outfit. In my opinion, I don't see how they get relegated. I think they're just too good to go down, in my opinion. But Miggy plays the ball, and I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I think it's a good pass into the path of Gordon on the left hand side, but Anthony Gordon puts the afterburners on, gets into the box, cuts in. Keeper saves it. That's the only one I've seen the replay for. Kaminsky's got to par it out either to the right or for a corner or something, but it's straight into the path of Sean Longstaff. Touch, right foot, bottom corner. And in the space of 2 or 3 minutes, Newcastle were ahead again.
What was it, 21 minutes? We had 3 goals?
Something like that.
Good thing about Sean Longstaff, because he's got his critics. He used to do all of that in his youth days, on the 21s. You know, that Lampard run. You know, you're hoping for something to come back out, and he's done it twice, so, you know, that's what we want, so... Great that we've scored, but Gordon, I thought that was going to be a carbon copy of his goal a few weeks ago when he cut in and curled it. But yeah, all he can do is ask for one of your midfielders. It's just, you know, 9 out of every 10 times, you're not going to get something. But when that one chance falls to you, be there, and Sean was, and it's great that he's got 2 goals and no critics for him tonight, which is nice to see.
Yeah, certainly. Then, Joe, bearer of bad news, Luton score. Oh no, from the Barkey, who I thought was instrumental. He wouldn't look out of place in Newcastle's team if I'm being really honest. I thought he was absolutely fantastic, and we'll talk about the right winger, who I thought the number 7 for Luton. Unbelievable. Ogbene, unbelievable play, unbelievable. I thought he was absolutely brilliant for Luton today. But let's talk about Luton's second goal. Barkley drives towards Newcastle's defence, and again, we're not really pressuring him, allowing him to kind of do what he wants. He's dictating the pace a little bit in terms of when Luton have the ball. Plays the ball towards the left-hand side. I think it was Doherty that has the shot, saved by Dubravka, but straight into the path of Barkley, who puts it in practically an empty net. And you have to say, on balance, Joe, Luton deserved to be 2-2 at that point.
Oh, without doubt, Luton done well to bring themselves back 2-2. I feel, though, at the same time, when Morgan just wasn't there on that second Luton goal, we're just, like Lee said before, Botman just seemed to have a bit of a weak game, which we're not used to with Botman. He wasn't the pace. I mean, you know, say number 7, Lee said his name. Sorry, I do forget, Luton fans. And he was, to sort of play devil's advocate, he was outrunning Dan Burn all the time. I think Dan Burn had the effort, but we needed Tino on earlier. We needed him to come on. Of course, Luton were going to score again. They had the pace, they had the position, and they just played it well. They pressured Dubravka. We know Dubravka's not the quickest.
Sorry to interrupt you. Do you blame Dubravka for the goal? Because I mentioned Kaminsky with Newcastle's second goal, but is it just a bit too much of a powerful shot? Is it just all we expected him to save the shot and then hopefully the defence deals with it?
I think one of my big things that I say about Dubravka is when Dubravka goes to the floor and saves a shot and parries it back out, I'm worried straight away because Dubravka can't get back up off the ground quick enough. He never gets back up to get back to that goal. We need the defence to be there, and the defence just weren't there today. When the rebounds were coming in, no one was there to follow and pick up from Dubravka's getting back up. It needs to be quicker. Do I blame Dubravka? Maybe he's on that one. I do. Yeah, I think it's a team effort though. The defenders and Dubravka just haven't been there enough. You know, you need a bit more support between yourselves. Obviously, we're already seeing Dan Burn struggling on the wing. Well, guys, stay back a bit more. You know, you've seen Dan Burn pushing up into midfield. I know we need more midfield. I know that. Dan Burn, stay in position, mate. You're getting outpaced. Stop back. Stop it. You're going to be there when that ball's coming back out. You're going to be there because you're a big, bulky guy. You can throw your whole body on the line and cover more of that. Yeah. Team effort.
Just on that as well. Should Miggy be helping out though?
Yes. Potentially, but again, it's the right hand side
where
where
it's like they play a wing back system, don't they? 3 at the back, then they play the full backs, don't the wing backs?
Is Miggy fit though?
I know, but you've seen it midweek. It was times midweek as well.
No, but I'm just saying he's only played 60 minutes a day. I don't think Miggy's fully fit. I don't think he's been rushed back in, but I think it's a case of we kind of need him to play at least 60 minutes a day. I think you've seen him at times where he was chasing. He was like that half a second a bit too late.
It's not Miggy's. Not fully Miggy, because it's Dan Burn has to deal with his man, but he needs extra help from these winger. But Dubravka, you're taught as a goalkeeper, when you save it, you palm it sideways. So for me, he has to take a bit of the blame. Not all of it, but a collective, as Joe says.
Just before at half time, Wilson comes on, Anthony Gordon comes off, which is probably not the one you want out with the 3 coming off. So I'm assuming it's an injury. Hopefully it's just for precaution more than anything, because he's been outstanding. I'd argue that Anthony Gordon's probably been Newcastle's player of the season this year. Fabian Schär deserves an honourable mention as well, Bruno of course, but Lee, second half, it was actually Newcastle started the better of the 2 teams in the second half. It was a case that we were obviously Wilson with a bit more emphasis going forward. I thought Newcastle were doing all right, but the first time that Luton really go forward and Ogbene literally just
rips Dan Burn.
He literally just doesn't for pace, and Dan Burn just. I don't blame him. I think he tries to do the foul outside the box, but he does it just inside the box. VAR, have a look. I've had a couple of people next to me who went down towards the toilet and the screens, and they said it was comfortably in the box in the end. So the referees did make the right decision. I don't think the referee was brilliant today. I have to stress that. But eventually, Luton get the penalty, and Brown makes it 3-2, sending Dubravka the wrong way. What are you thinking at that point?
It's time and time again. First half, you've seen Dan Burn. I don't want to make it be about Dan Burn, because look, he's a centre back effectively playing left back, and you know he does all right against the likes of in the past seasons wingers on the right hand side. You look at it, and when he's playing like against Mo Salah or whoever, I think, oh my god, but he actually comes out pretty well in a lot of the games. So, but he's a blame. He's a blame for that, and
he knows that though.
Yeah, and he's also partially blamed for the 4th goal as well. Not just the only one, but penalty obviously retaken. So, but 3-2, it's still early on. There's still like a good 35-40 minutes to play.
Did Newcastle rush it? Did they rush it? Did they think, we need to get back into it as soon as possible?
I just think the defender's been done for pace, that's it. You can't help pace. Pace. If you're a defender and you're up against pace, it's threatening and it's like, oh my God, it's really, really difficult to play against someone who has pace.
The argument is, Joe, does Tino Livramento need to come on early, which you've mentioned before, and he did come on after Luton made it 4-2 to Newcastle. A ball gets played through and it's going towards Jacob Murphy, but I don't know if Dan Burn panics or Jacob Murphy hasn't put a bit of saying it's my ball, don't go anywhere near it. But because Burn stretches for it and it doesn't go to Murphy, Luton get the chance to break. And next thing you know, Ross Barkley's putting on a plate, and Luton are making it 4-2. And at that point, you think in 63, 64 minutes in, maybe not even an hour, it's 4-2 to Luton. And then the substitutes come on of Tino Livramento and Harvey Bonds. But at 4-2, what are you thinking?
4-2, I was honestly, in the way Luton were playing at that point in time and the mistakes we were making, I was like, this could be a win now. This could be 5. This could be 6-2. We could be really getting a hammering here at home, which we shouldn't be seeing. My confidence wasn't there, but I will state I have been very vocal about Harvey Bonds and that I don't like him. Harvey Bonds has proven me wrong today. I think when Tino Livramento and Harvey Bonds came on, they changed everything in this game for us. Them two were massive power players, and I want to see Tino starting more. Now, that isn't a slight on Dan Burn, but it's just like Lee says there, sometimes Dan Burn will come out against the likes of Mo Salahs and that, and you're thinking this is amazing. Today he shouldn't be struggling in that position. Bring Tino Livramento on at half time. The pace, we needed it. It was massive missing.
Yeah, get your comments in below in regards to the Dan Burn Tino Livramento debate, and I'll stay with you, Joe, for Newcastle's third goal.
No, just put in as well before I thought it was game over. 4-2. I thought we lost.
I didn't think.
We were done.
I thought that Newcastle were going to get chances, so I was kind of like, it depends when we score the third. But we scored the third pretty much straight away. And Kieran Trippier, who's been in the news for Bayern Munich pretty much for all the January, had a great game against Aston Villa at Villa Park, where me and Lee were there. But it's across from the left-hand side. Longstaff just misses header, but it comes back to Kieran Trippier, left-footed volley in the bottom corner. It was game on. It's a great finish.
It was clinical as well, and I loved straight away what Trippier had done. Trippier was straight into the net, picked the ball up. He barely even celebrates. He picks the ball up, he's running back towards the halfway line, he throws his fist to the fans, let's go. He gets all the boys back and he's like, let's go. It was literally, we were fighting to win that game. As soon as we scored that third goal, right, let's go for it, let's get another. It was fantastic. Trippier's finishing was clinical. I mean, you think about him, he's a right back. He's got no right to be coming out and finishing like that. That's the job of a centre forward, not a right back. He was fantastic in that finishing. Trippier's had a great game again today. Yeah, I get it. There's been a couple of mistakes. A lot of people are against him with, what's happened in the past few weeks, the mistakes he's made. But yet again, you come out and you see Kieran Trippier there, we're captain, doing an absolute fantastic job, scoring a goal which, again, he should not be the one scoring the goal. He was fantastic. I really enjoyed Trippier the day. I did enjoy Murphy as well, but I felt in the second half Murphy's legs were giving out on him and he just couldn't keep up with the pace on the pitch. So, yeah. Yeah,
it's an interesting one. I think you'd rather be Miggy or Murphy that was injured rather than Anthony Gordon, because if you put Wilson up front and put Gordon on the left in his more natural position, I'd like to have seen what would have happened there, because he had a real good time against the Luton defence in the first half. But it was 4-3 quite quickly, and it wasn't too long until it was 4-4 and it was game on. And Harvey Barnsley, I have to be honest, I was quite happy when we signed him, and we've only seen him at Sheffield United, AC Milan, and he scored against Aston Villa.
And he scored in his pre-season debut friendly as well.
Exactly. So he has played games.
He's got goals, and just before that as well, the momentum in the stadium changed when that third goal went in, because Luton went quiet. The fans, Newcastle fans, were singing like they were winning the game. It was weird. Yeah. And we're 4-3 down, and I think that helped the momentum, because they always say the crowd is the 12th man. I think it was. It was.
That helped. It was a great finish from Harvey Barnes, though, to make it 4-4 left foot. I think the Luton keeper has to save that, in my opinion. I think a top keeper saves that from behind the Gallagher. It's a great finish from Harvey Barnes, and I'm delighted that Newcastle scored. I want my keeper saving that, I have to be really honest. But great finish, great to see him back, and it was game on, and you're thinking, right, can Newcastle push it? But great impact from Harvey Barnes.
Yeah, I've always championed him. I've always championed him. It's not just Joe who's again. There's another one in the WhatsApp group as well who doesn't like Harvey Barnes. I'm pleased he's proved him wrong. But that's what the players are there to do. I was a critic of Sean Longstaff before Eddie Howe come in, proved me wrong. So that's what the players have got to do. But great little side foot casual, and fingers crossed he stays fifth. For me, he starts ahead of Murphy and Almiron any day of the week. Any day of the week. The reason why, he scores goals. Simple as that. The other two don't do enough. And for me, Harvey Barnes, where do you play him though? Gordon is injured. It's a great opportunity for him to have a little run in this team. If not, can he alternate the two wingers? One plays right, one plays left, mix them, swap over. But that moment 4-4, the mentality was, right, get the ball, run the halfway line. A bit like the lasses are like as well in the women's football. Get the ball, run the halfway line.
Yeah, and you're thinking at that point, we've got time.
Could it be? Could it be?
Yeah, and you're thinking 5-4. Could it happen? I mean, Newcastle definitely had chances. Callum Wilson, who was, I thought he really had a good battle with the Luton Town defence, and I thought he won most of the battles, if I have to be honest.
About today, didn't he?
He was brilliant. I thought he was brilliant when he came on today. And
I'm going to have to play devil's advocate. Personally, there was a few times where I stood there and I was shouting a few times. I don't like how much Wilson sits back. Sometimes you'll see the attack coming on the right and the left wing, and Wilson's not running. I get it, he's not the fastest player in the world. I understand that. He's got age on him. I know that. But one of my things that's starting to annoy us about Wilson is we need that pace to keep up to the likes of Gordon, to keep up to the likes of Harvey Barnes when they're coming up on that wing. Wilson just isn't fast enough. I'll accept, yes, he wins his battles, but he hasn't got the pace we need anymore.
It's an interesting point, and again, this is where Alexander Isak would be perfect to bring on, but it wasn't available today. But look, it ended 4-4. Newcastle had moments. Bruno had a cross right outside of the foot. It just didn't seem to touch anybody, and Murphy got on the back post.
Murphy and Shea at the back.
Murphy at the back post, but it was too much past the goal for him to kind of really get it on target. But it did finish 4-4. Eddie Howe, Jason Tyndall, I don't know who's going to do this press conference because Eddie Howe wasn't very well, but I'm assuming Eddie Howe would probably take control on this. Eddie, tell us everything about Newcastle 4, Luton Town 4.
Lots of good, lots of bad, really mixed. The way we started the game, I thought this could be a really memorable game for us. With credit to Luton, they responded really well and made it difficult for us. I thought it was a very open game, two teams going right at each other. Probably a great game for the neutral, not so much I think if you're associated to us, because I think there's a huge determination to win today and we're disappointed not to. When you're in my shoes you have more than one thing to focus on, so it's never that clear cut. Luton are a really big team. New set plays was going to be a huge threat, so we knew we had to cover that as well. So it's not just one discipline. We conceded the first goal from a set play, so yeah, they were a threat down that right hand side. We didn't deal with it well enough. Certainly something for us to focus and reflect on. But defensively all day, really, we were never totally secure.
2 points dropped. You can't be scoring 4 goals at home against Luton and not winning the game.
Well, that's it, just before kick-off when he came up with.
I remember.
I'll tell you then, Johnny, I'll tell the rest. If you want Champions League football, you have to beat Luton.
Weren't we already out the race, though?
Yes, we were, but it's a sign of, like, we're throwing away leads. I know we were over there filming a couple of weeks ago with Sam. So many times I know it's against top teams, but we're winning against Luton and we're throwing it away again and we're throwing another lead. The positives are we come back, that's the positive. But realistically, Newcastle still Eddie Howe, and I agree with Eddie Howe what he said last week, that Newcastle do have still a lot to play for. They're still in the FA Cup, and you would think on paper you get past Blackburn, and then it depends.
Can I throw a question to you? Is the FA Cup more important than the Premier League now?
Yes. Yeah, because it's a trophy. I'll happily get relegated and win a trophy.
You're 2 games away from Wembley here, and we've got Blackburn. Blackburn's one of them.
I'll get relegated and win a trophy. That's what I want. I want to take it off and say I've seen Newcastle United lift a trophy at Wembley.
What do you think? Is the FA Cup more of a priority now for the Premier League? Because we're kind of at this in this area at the table where I think we're around about 8th. I'll talk about the table in a second, but we're too far away from the Champions League, in my opinion. We're too far away from Aston Villa and Tottenham, and we're not that shit to be dragged into anywhere near the bottom half. We're kind of somewhere in the middle and fighting for Europa League and Conference League. But is the FA Cup now the real priority because of who we've got in the draw?
I would say because of who we've got in the draw, the FA Cup's a priority and what we should look at. However, on a long-term goal, I feel like we should be looking at Europa. I think that's where we fit in right now. Whether we can go and absolutely destroy Europa and win everything at Europa, maybe we should be in Europa. I don't know if I would say if you're putting it between the FA Cup.
Joe's coming.
I know. It's coming for you, Europe. Prague, I'm coming. But yeah, I feel like if we can go for it in the FA Cup, I'll take that. But I would rather focus on Europa, finishing in a high position in the Premier League.
I think the club, Eddie Howe, they're both equal.
They'll probably have to say that, but I think behind the scenes behind the scenes, I think the owners will say the Premier League's more important. Of course they will. For the fans, I think the fans, FA Cup. Yeah, the fans will say it's the FA Cup. But talking about the Europa, if Newcastle win the FA Cup or get to the final and say they're playing Man City or Liverpool, they're already in Europe.
No, I think the rules changed. I think it drops down, doesn't it?
Well, whatever the rule is, but it gives you a chance in that regard anyway.
I think realistically, top 8, because we should see the Premier League creep back in the top 2 co-efficiency. So the top 5 will get Champions League, and that extra European place will drop down to 8. So realistically, top 8 should get you into Europe of some sort of competition. And let's bring on Latvia and Lithuania and all these places where we can go and visit, Johnny.
Ibiza
Like West
in the
Ham.
Conference League.
Like West Ham.
This is your updated Premier League table. The only result that we don't know is Sheffield United versus Aston Villa. They're playing now. Come on the Blades is what I'll be saying. It has finished Everton 2, Tottenham 2. Crystal Palace were 3-0 down away to Brighton, so I'm assuming Brighton won. And Burnley were losing 2-0 at home to Fulham. I'm assuming Fulham had won. Probably doesn't really matter in regards to Newcastle United, but Lee, the table was still comfortable top half, really. It's kind of going to be a case. Can Newcastle really catch fifth if Aston Villa fall off a cliff? But realistically, I think it's 6 is probably the very best that Newcastle can hope for this season.
6 to 8, realistically. And let's just hope, I was talking about it a couple of weeks ago, that February should be having bodies back. Harvey Barnes is back, Wilson's back, Isak hopefully Willock's back the next game or two. Got to be a little bit careful with Bruno, and we've also got to be a little bit careful with Gordon. They're 1 yellow card away from suspension. So if you want to be tactical, you've got to plan to, not saying deliberately, deliberately get a yellow card to miss a Blackburn game. That's what I would personally do.
I want my best players playing against Blackburn. What about you?
We're missing Joe Linton. That's massive to me. I think you missed him massively today. We can't afford to lose anyone else. I hate to disagree really, but we can't afford to lose anyone else.
We'll pick up a yellow card at some point.
Especially when it looks like Bruno and that. He's a yellow card whore. He's a yellow card hog. Honestly, I don't know what I want when it comes to losing players right now, because we've had such a season where every time we've lost a player.
Hopefully, when Willock is back, that's when it happens.
Willock, yes. Anderson, we're still missing a few players. Isak is obviously hopefully on his way back. Hopefully Gordon's okay.
They're both aggressive players.
But we need numbers.
They both like to tackle. They both like to argue with referees. They will get a yellow card soon.
I like Lewis Smiley. He does everything simple and he does it really, really well. But we need someone that has he needs to bulk up. Which I'm not blaming Lewis Smiley on. He's 17 years old, but you're missing a Joe Willock, even an Ali Anderson
and experience.
Yeah, of course.
That's one thing I say about Lewis Smiley is I feel like if we keep putting this pressure on Lewis Smiley and giving him full 90 minutes games, there's a very high chance that we can break him a bit.
Burn out.
Yeah, and he's going to burn out massively. He's going to burn out, and I mean you've got to remember that he's only 17. I get it. He's this wonder prospect in 5 years.
Luke Littler's only 17.
But true. Still, though, you can't rely too much on these players. But at the same time, we've got to.
Newcastle players can't really play darts. We've seen that this week.
Hey, Tonali can. Tonali can.
Yeah, big Tony, yeah.
So, man of the match for you?
That's a tough one, isn't it? I don't know yet. I can't really say. I don't think anyone deserves a standout mention.
I've got a name, but man of the match? Man of the match for you?
Harvey Barnes.
I'm going Sean Longstaff. I thought two goals. I thought he was defensively. I thought he was brilliant today for Newcastle. I just think for me he deserves some credit for today. I thought he had a fantastic performance. So Sean Longstaff gets.
I agree. He's probably. Now you mentioned it.
He's one of our own. Sean
Longstaff. Women's game
he's on our own. I know that.
Leading perfect into the fact that Newcastle United women do play against Wolverhampton Wanderers. I so hope that Wolverhampton Wanderers fan is there, because if you watch the video from last season in the FA Cup, it is worth a watch, and make sure you keep an eye out for that. It's a massive game.
Basically, he's equivalent of Joe, and he sings on his own.
Yeah. Honestly,
he's a one-man army.
He's a one-man band. Honestly, one-man band. But it's a massive game. Nottingham Forest, who beat Newcastle in the league a couple of weeks ago, beat Burnley, so it's back in Newcastle's hands. They take on Wolves, who are mid-table. Massive game. Make sure you come along to Kingston Park if you want to come along and cheer along.
It's free travel
as well for everybody, so do come along.
Yeah, do come along. It's a 2 o'clock kick-off, so make sure you get there early to support the lasses. But I think that's where we'll end today's video. It's been an entertaining game, a frustrating game, but Newcastle haven't lost the game, which they nearly did, let's be brutally honest. We'll be all there at Kingston Park tomorrow. Make sure you like and subscribe to Newcastle Fans TV, and we'll see you all very soon.
Come on!